And that's right, everybody. Welcome back once again to another edition of the Best Seat in the House podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rob Kramer, joined by my co host, Daniel Bobo Carlin. And we've got a big night of New York sports to get into tonight, as it is do or die time for the New York Knickerbockers. And obviously, too, we got the baseball going on with the Mets and the Yankees both having an off day. But Mets coming off a series win, back-to-back series wins, as a matter of fact, over the Dodgers and the White Sox. And the Yankees are just on fire right now, winning 9 of their last 10 games, culminating with the 3-game sweep of the Angels in Anaheim. But before we get into all that, Dan, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. But yeah, for one thing, that was just an ugly loss yesterday. I was at yesterday's game. Also, a bit nervous here. Freaking Knicks don't disappoint me again. It's already enough. I'm gonna have to deal. It's already enough. I'm gonna have to deal with all those dumb phone wellness check calls again.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All the Knick fans are going to be on their close friends and relatives speed dials tonight because, like you said, it's do or die time. Just a really tough situation the Knicks have gotten themselves into, and a situation that we really haven't ever seen at least the Knicks come back from in the NBA. Well, let's just get into it right now. As a matter of fact. Um, when you take a look at what has gone on. So obviously the Knicks blew that game one and really put themselves in a bad spot, especially when they came out and then end up losing game two. They go to when the series shifted to Indiana, they ended up showing up, played a good game, won that game in game three, but the same could not be said for game four as the Knicks end up losing that game 130 to 121, dropping the conference finals to 3-1 now against the Pacers, Dan. So, it just always comes back to it. And what I was talking about a second ago is that this is something, coming back from 3-1, we've seen this in baseball. We've seen this in hockey. This is something that we've seen teams do this before. But the Knicks have never come back from 3-1 in any series ever. And only 13 teams in the history of the NBA, that's including every round of the playoffs, have ever done it. So, it's not exactly a situation that you want to get yourselves into. Knicks with their back against the wall one more time, Dan. What do you think about the situation that we're in right now and the odds of getting out of it?
Well, so far going to this game, I had to rub the belly of our executive producer Grimace before the game. Rubbing his belly. I had to rub his belly before the game. Good luck. I had to rub the belly for. But yeah, what I was gonna say is that this one's getting me nervous, and all because the Knicks freaking were burnt out so many times, burnt out in the fourth quarter, and not taking advantage of enough on turnovers and giving up too many unanswered points is really killing us. The more all those unanswered points we give up.
Yeah, and you look at the rest of the series too, and the rest of the playoffs. The way the Knicks have gone is they have to play that New York Knicks style of defense that we've become accustomed to over the last couple of years under Tom Thibodeau. They've gotten into too much of the lackadaisical defense and not getting back. Quick enough. We see it a lot, unfortunately, as much as I like the guy with Karl Anthony Towns, where he gets a big basket and then he'll sit underneath the basket celebrating rather than getting back on D. So we've seen that time and time again. But, last year, we're talking about teams how rare it is to have come back from 3-1. It happened to the Knicks last year. The Indiana Pacers were down 3-1 against the Knicks. We were one win away from the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And, it did end up working out. They ended up choking. Obviously, injuries played a big role in that too, down the stretch in that series. But fact is, the Knicks blew it. And just like they blew game one in this series. And, hey, It doesn't. All I'm saying is that it sets the precedent that this is not an impossible feat. Sure, it's unlikely, but let's be honest too, Dan. We've seen this thing happen. If the Knicks are able to dig down deep and win this game tonight, and the series shifts to Indiana for Game 6, a lot of that pressure is going to go on Indiana to close the thing out in Game 6 and not even go back to the Garden for Game 7. So we've seen that thing before, and it's all about just putting as much pressure on Indiana as the Knicks possibly can.
Yep. In other words, in the words of one Skips, I've seen this before.
Unfortunately, we've never seen the Knicks do it before, but you're right. Last year, this has happened. So this is something that we have to get prepared for tonight. It's going to be obviously it's going to be a nail biter. It's not going to be easy. We've seen how tough this Pacers team is. They're the best shooting team in the playoffs this year, and there are a couple of guys that we're going to need to do it. And Brunson, you know, he hasn't played his best playoff series as a Knick, but especially even in the win, he actually was probably his worst playoff game as a Knick overall. But 31 points, 5 assists. He had a pretty good game in game 4. Karl Anthony Towns, same thing, 24 points, 12 rebounds. So they're able to put up the numbers. It's a lot of the other guys too. We've got to see. Miles McBride has had some awkward moments in this series coming off the bench. They've been forced because of foul troubles with a lot of these guys. Which, look, we can bitch about the calls as much as we want, and believe me, I have watching the games. But when it comes down to it, you've got to deal with it. As our co-host has departed momentarily.
Yeah,
But
I just had to turn on the light in my room because the daylight's running out.
I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, man, I mean, the Knicks are going to need their big guys to get the job done again. They're going to have to lean on them. There's a reason why. And I'm not going to be one of these Knicks fans. I saw on ESPN earlier today Mike Greenberg, who I like. I'm not one of these guys that hates him. I think I'm a Jets fan. He's a Jets fan. He's a Knicks fan. I'm a Knicks fan. So I don't hate Mike Greenberg. I like him, as a matter of fact. But hearing him rationalize the Knicks being down 3-1 in this series, saying that Jalen Brunson took this mediocre Knicks team to the Eastern Conference Finals and dragged them here, that's just not factual at all. Now, you can make the argument that this Knicks team is not that deep. We don't really see what's his name, Coach Thibodeau roll with 8 or 9 guys a night. It's funny. I saw on the TNT show, like I'm sure a lot of guys do have watched too during this series. Kenny Smith on the pre-show said that Tom Thibodeau wouldn't play 9 games if he was playing a baseball game. I'm sorry, he wouldn't play 9 players if he was playing a baseball game. So it's a good line, and it's probably true. But the fact is, Tom Thibodeau doesn't have 9 guys to roll out there. I don't want to see Prince Achua that much more than we have to. I don't want to see Campaign out there more than we have to. What do you think, Dan? Do you think that Thibodeau should be rolling more of these guys deep, or when you don't have that deep of a team, how deep can you go?
Yeah, exactly. You really don't need to do. Yeah, it's not something Tom Thibodeau should be doing. The rest of the way, he should
Yeah,
he should really understand, utilize most of what the strength of this team is.
yeah, and the
And
strength of this team is its defense.
yeah, exactly. And if you need to bring some of these guys on the bench, maybe wait a little bit more. If there's a little bit of a blow up, maybe give some guys a spill. Maybe then that's a different case. But when you're playing a game that's going to be very tight, don't need to bring these guys in. You don't need to
Yeah,
bring these
man.
guys in. Also, I gotta say, the people that do the NBA pre-show on TNT inside the NBA, they're gonna be dearly missed next year.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about it, man. And hey, it's just going to be one of these situations now where you have to hope for something that you've never seen before as a Knicks fan, and that's winning 3 straight. And hey, think about the playoff disappointments that we've suffered against the Pacers since 2000. Really, I mean the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals, we lost to Indiana. got knocked out. That was Patrick Ewing's last hurrah with the Knicks. Um, then when you look forward and you see obviously the Knicks went through that long stretch where they weren't competitive, but the next time they were with Carmelo Anthony in 2013, we lost to them that year too. Then we lost to them last year. Now we're staring defeat squarely in the eyes once again against the Indiana Pacers. And the only option the Knicks have at this point right now is to, like I said, do something they haven't done before: win 3 straight and shut everyone up. Otherwise, it's going to be a long off season of us trying to figure out how they're going to revamp this roster and make it deeper. And telling ourselves, well, hey, it was still a nice run. Even though, it feels good that the Knicks got this far. But man, once again, having home court against this Pacers team and losing again to a lower seeded Pacers team is just like, man, how many times can we see this happen? You know, at some point, they're going to have to knock the Pacers off. And let's just hope it's this year because they're going to have to do it eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope. Guys, be quiet. I'm on the air. Never mind. I just said you can't hear anything from outside, right? Please tell me you can't hear anything.
It's okay. Just keep rolling, buddy.
You can't hear. You don't can't hear anything. Please no.
No.
All right. Good. All right. I told my mom no one from don't bring my uncle or grandma into the house while we're filming. I told her.
All right, fair enough. But don't worry about it. Don't get hung up on it.
I know, but I should say I hate it. It becomes a meme and stuff. The Opie Nancy fans can be ruthless sometimes.
Well, don't worry about it, buddy. When it comes down to it now, the only thing you got to worry about tonight is Game 5 at the Garden. Knicks down 3-1. 8 p.m. tonight, man. It's all on the line. There's nothing else. Unfortunately, there's nothing else that we can even really say about it. It's just, you got to win tonight, obviously, or the season's over. And you just got to hope that maybe if you do put the pressure on them tonight, that they struggle to live up to that in Game 6 at home. We saw coming into Game 4 in Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton, as good as he is, he was only 8 of 41 at home shooting threes in the whole playoffs coming into that game. So obviously something about performing in front of the hometown fans had gotten to him. Now, they've been much like the Knicks too, where they've been a very, very good road team on the postseason this year, playing the spoiler. But at home, they've seen their struggles, just like the Knicks have too. So it would, if the Knicks can get the job done tonight, you just got to hope that maybe they buckle under the pressure a little bit in Game 6.
Yep, exactly. I'm just hoping so. Keeping my fingers crossed. It's just gonna be a lot of nervousness going into these games, and I'll be there in the living room and hope whatever happens, hope the TV survives.
Yeah, that's and
That's
luckily
all I
it's the
can
only thing
say.
we're gonna have to watch tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just sick of my Knicks falling short every time over the years, all the way back to the 90s. For once, win the whole thing. For once, seal the deal.
Well, it's been 50 plus years.
I dealt with this during the almost dynasty in the 90s. I want this stretch of playoff runs, this stretch of Knicks going on a playoff run every year to have at least one championship during this stretch of playoff runs.
I hear you. But you can't even call the 90s, you can't even call an almost dynasty. That's because they didn't even win one. If they won a championship, I guess like you could call like the 86 Mets, like the Mets of the 80s in almost dynasty. At least they won one and got to the NLCS another year. In the 90s, Knicks never even won a championship,
Yeah, then again, the reason I kind of refer to almost dynasty is because there was a documentary on MLB Network about those they were called the Indians then. Those Cleveland Indians teams that had this huge stretch of run making the playoffs and coming close. And that documentary is called The Dynasty That Never Was. I just remember advertisements for that documentary, so that's why I refer to it as an almost almost dynasty because
Makes
I I,
sense. Makes
I
sense.
I I feel like there just would have been there just should have been at least one championship during those stretch runs of the '90s, but unfortunately, the PTSD every time, anytime I'm around somebody from Chicago, the, the, those things, all right. Trust me, it was worse one time when I once went to when I once went to a concert in Chicago. It was at the United Center. Brought add too much PTSD seeing that Jordan statue. That's all I got to say. That Jordan statue had some Knicks fan PTSD seeing it.
I hear you. I hear you. And let's just hope though that if you saw, the referees too. The one thing that has really pissed me off with the
Oh,
referees is that
I
they've allowed Karl Anthony Towns to get beat up this series and really all postseason long. And now because of that, as we saw one of the plays where he went knee to knee with a guy where he was called for the foul on that too, ridiculously. Karl Anthony Towns is listed as a game time decision tonight.
again those stupid referees. I just want to just put them on a dumb shizer list. And another thing, a major reason why. Well, my sister's huge age gap, right? Let's put for those that put context when my sister, I myself was 13 years old when my sister was born. I told her when she was little, never marry an umpire or a zebra. That's what I told her. She stuck to that, by the way.
There you go. That's a good sister for you. And
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
so just
I
unfortunate
told
the
her.
situation we're in right now. Crucial game 4. The Knicks dropped that game 4. We get set now for game 5 tonight at Madison Square Garden. So we'll definitely see what where that's going to take us, because it's definitely not a situation you want to be in. But hey, the Knicks have gotten really far. This has been let me ask you one more thing on the Knicks before we move on, Dan. I saw a lot of people saying the Knicks have to win this series in order for it to be a successful season. Did they disappoint if they lost this one? I don't know. What are your feelings? Because I feel like this has been a pretty damn good season, and as
Um,
disappointing as it is to, if it all comes to an end at some point in this series, whether it be tonight or in 6 or 7, um, I don't know. I can't sit here and shit all over this season the way some other Knicks fans have. What do you think?
I feel like it'd be a letdown. It was a good season, but still just a letdown. Especially the fact after us beating one of the most toughest teams that no one expected we were going to beat, and the way we manhandled one of the toughest teams to beat the favorite to win the whole thing. We just manhandled them. We made them our bitch, and
Yeah, because you're right. That's something that at least you can hang your head on, right?
yeah, exactly. But it's just the Knicks fan in me feels it's just a letdown because I've been through this so many times as a Knicks fan. I was coming close and not getting it done. So many,
Yeah,
I mean, so many years. I mean, I lived through this in the '90s. I, I just want to be nice to have that championship for once. That championship banner hanging in the garden that we could remember. Not no longer being the last time the Knicks won a championship was something that happened when my mom was a kid.
it's true. It's been a long freaking time, man. Now let's see what a couple of our viewers are thinking about this real quick. It's going to be a bloodbath, so not off to a good start on that one. Let's hope that's not the case. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate you chiming in on there. All right. Let's see. Knicks are cooked. Put a fork in them. Not good. Not too good right off the bat here.
How did the Pacers fans sneak in our chat? Boo.
All right. So, Nick fans, or I don't know if they are Nick fans, but fans in general, not too positive coming into tonight. We got Lee Slater checking in, give us a little "Let's go Knicks." There we go. So a little positivity, a little positivity. All right, all right. Can't go wrong with that. All right. Let's see. What else we got here, Dan? All right, and as a matter of fact, yes, Kyle, we do read comments. So thank you for dropping in there. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And also one last from Lee Slater here. Kramer and
Yeah,
Bobo
thank
will
you,
love the
thank you,
podcast.
thank you,
Thank you, buddy. Thank
thank you, thank you. All right, trust me, we do read our comments too. You're seeing your comments on the show, so
you. Exactly. Exactly. And real quick, Dan, give a shout out to our buddy Kyle's buddy here.
all right, we give a shout out to you guys. A shout out to Emmy in Brooklyn, whoever your friend is. A shout out to him.
There you go. There you go.
Right,
Thank you, everybody, by the way, for hanging out with us here tonight. And all right, Dan, let's keep it rolling along here now with we'll get into some Mets talk, little Yankees after that. And before we wrap things up here, as we are about half hour away from tip off at the Garden, we got it on here right now. Everybody's getting to their seats. Everybody's getting pumped up, and everybody's pretty pumped up right now for our baseball teams right now. Dan, the Mets had an interesting series against the White Sox. I mean, it was kind of like pulling teeth in a way because it's almost like the Mets were daring themselves to lose every game in that series, but somehow pulled out the win on Monday, somehow pulled out the win on Tuesday, and then yesterday was just a shit show. So, what do you
yeah,
think about
yeah.
that series?
Well, for one thing, it's unfortunate that our pitching just didn't keep us in the game, that one game, and so many freaking errors, and not being able to get that third out a couple of times just cost us a dumb game, and that was the worst game I had ever seen this year.
Yeah, it was a crappy game. And
Yeah, yeah,
Griffin
that was.
Canning, he finally didn't have good stuff. Griffin Canning, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm just wondering how much is our pitching going to hold up, and is David Stern has some tricks pulled up our sleeves because we have a surplus of shortstops, we have a surplus of catching. I just feel that's just gonna be something that just takes us over the top. Is that you can never have enough pitching. I mean, say what you want. I mean, we've had our pitching good so far, but you can never have enough pitching, and I feel like you need that guy that's knows how to handle this situation. Like
Yeah.
we've had a rotation of people that have never had this experience throwing too many innings that need to be able to to be that stopper.
Yeah.
And of course another big one, of course, uh Sean Mania looks like he's on track to coming back. So hopefully that's a good sign. Another thing, stop bringing in Jose Budo. I get nervous every time we bring this guy in. Every
you know,
time they
I
bring this guy in, he's been taking us out of games. He's been almost taking us out of games. I get nervous every time they bring him in.
he's not as reliable as he was last year. But while I do understand what you're saying, because I gotta say, every time Jose Budo comes in now, I'm definitely a little nervous about it. You got to give the guy credit, even though he did have that one bad outing. He did get out of a bunch of jams in this series at times, and you could even argue, um, to a certain extent, that he was one of the Mets' more pivotal players in that series against the White Sox that tilted the series in the Mets' favor. So, as annoying as he is at times, and I understand it, he still has his value, no doubt about it, and he's a big reason why the Mets ended up taking 2 out of 3 from the White Sox, obviously one of the worst teams in baseball. And now they're getting ready to face the Colorado Rockies, Dan. And I've done some research on this too, and the Rockies right now are 9-47. And based on my research, I looked in the history books. I I went in there and checked it out myself. Especially this late in the year after Memorial Day, I think this is the worst record with for a team this late in the year the Mets have ever faced. They've never faced a team with a record of 9-47 or worse. And that doesn't mean anything. As we saw last weekend against the Yankees in Coors Field, the Rockies did manage to win a game, which I think a lot of people didn't expect. They kind of thought the Yankees were going to go in there and roll
Uh,
over them, and that only
uh,
happened in one game. The Yankees won 13-1, but the other games were pretty close. A game the Yankees lost and a game they won
yeah.
5-4. But Dan, playing a team this crappy is good because it gives you the opportunity to build on what you've been doing, but you can't sit here and expect the Rockies to roll over and just let you kick their ass.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the players need to take this seriously. They need to take this seriously like they're facing a team that's one of the top, like they're facing one of the top contenders. They need to go into this that with that same energy. I'm sorry, they need to just like they went into that with that same energy when they were facing the Dodgers. They took 2 out of 3. Probably could have swept that series if certain things went their way during that first game. That's how they need to go into this. Take
Yeah,
this seriously. They they need to take this seriously. I get nervous against these teams in these bottom feeding teams, especially after what we experienced in 2007 and
yeah.
2008.
It's the second division teams, as Keith Hernandez likes to say, right?
Yeah, I feel like these are the key ones that you really have to win because these games can be
Yeah,
very tricky. Got to take advantage of it. Got to
yeah.
take advantage of
That's
these second division teams as a no strike first, strike hard, strike fast, no mercy. Bite the
yeah,
head
man.
off the snake.
That is the key to being a successful team across 162 games in Major League Baseball. You have to beat the bad teams, take advantage of them, win series after series after series against the bad teams, and then all you have to do is split against the good teams. If you could play 500 against the better teams in the league and just roll over all the bad teams, you're going to have a good season. So, you just got to hope the Mets keep that going right now. They took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. So, we'll see if they could keep and do a little split against them in LA next week, maybe, as the Mets are going to be out west. But now, it's just time to take care of business against the Rockies. But then, one thing the Mets really aren't taking care of business are in any respect this year is hitting with runners in scoring position. The Mets are the fourth worst team with runners in scoring position in the league. They are only hitting 211 in those situations. And here's a little thing right here. This is a graphic SNY put up. Um, Look, what do you notice about the other teams that are in that graphic with the Mets? The White Sox, terrible. The Orioles having an awful season, and the Rangers are, basically mediocre, not very good this year, even with the Grom in their rotation. So the Mets, who right now are 12 games over 500, are the only team in that graphic in the top half of the league right now with one of the better records. So it's kind of flying in the face of logic right now that the Mets are still being so successful, but they're going to have to figure things out soon because you cannot be hitting around 200 all year with runners in scoring position and go deep, this year or go deep in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they need to finally wake up. I expect the bats in this lineup to wake up big time. I expect them to even I expect them to even have a bigger second half. I expect at some point the bats are going to blow up, and I know some people Met fans are down on Juan Soto. I just have a weird feeling, just the look of it. Juan Soto, he's gonna break out of a big moment. Like if the Mets are still in contention all this time going into the second half, you're gonna see some big moments from Juan Soto without a doubt.
Yeah, I totally agree. Look, it is totally understandable to be frustrated with what you've seen out of Juan Soto, and not only the fact right now he's in an 0 for 17 that shouldn't even be an 0 for 17 because if Brandon Nimmo actually picked up the ball as he should have in the first inning of Game 2 against the White Sox, um, he would have had, I guess it was a good play by the outfielder to trap the ball and hold Soto to what should have been a single. But now Soto doesn't even get credit for that single, which is pretty ridiculous if you're familiar with how scoring and everything goes in Major League Baseball. Brandon Nimmo not being able to run the bases correctly cost Juan Soto a base
The,
hit
the,
there.
the,
But
the,
look, that's not.
the,
Yeah, you can say.
yeah. That game was scratching my head because I was at that game also. I was just like, what the? I was just. I'm telling you, when I'm watching the Met games, I'm just making a lot of noises. There's just a lot of cursing. Just all that stuff you gotta remember, ladies, when dating a Mets fan. That's the kind of stuff you're gonna deal with.
The insanity of being a Mets fan, man. You're absolutely right about that. And lastly, on the Mets here, Dan, is the matchup going into Friday night now at Citi Field. Let's hope we get some decent weather because it looks like it's going to be crappy all weekend. So hopefully we don't have a couple of rainouts to deal with. But
Yeah.
the matchup on Friday night is going to be David Peterson, who threw a gem into the eighth inning on his last start against the Los Angeles Dodgers on Saturday, and he's going to be going up against in a battle of southpaws Kyle Freeland, who is 0-7. This is one of their better pitchers in the rotation. 0-7 with a 5.86 ERA. It has been a nightmare season for him. It's been a nightmare season for the Colorado Rockies. And Dan, the only thing we can hope is that continues here this weekend in Queens.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta hope that continues. The Mets have to at least take 2 out of 3.
I
That's
agree.
that, and anything else, listen, and I'd be like, what? I don't think my TV would survive this. Would survive this weekend.
Yeah, man. We did our show on Sunday, and we were talking about what would be a successful run against these two teams. Which, by the way, we did on Patreon. If you want to check out our Patreon, that's patreon.com/best seat in the house podcast. Sign up for $5. We appreciate everybody that already has. But yeah, we were talking, Dan, about what would be a successful run against these two teams, and we said obviously the dream scenario is you go 6-0. The thing you shoot for, I guess, right off the bat, from our perspective, is at least 5-1, and the bare minimum against these two teams is 4-2. So obviously 6-0 is out of the question now with that loss yesterday. 5-1 is still in play. If they sweep the Rockies, that's still something that they can do. And 4-2 if they take 2 out of 3. If they lose 2 out of 3 to the Rockies now, and it's a 3-3 stretch against the White Sox and Rockies, that's when I'm going to start getting concerned because that it's still as bad as they've been in certain situations like runners in scoring position. They've still been getting the job done. They're 12 games over 500. But if you start losing a series to the Rockies like that, with as bad as they've been, that's when you're going to have to get worried.
Yeah, exactly. And please, Mets, dude, get the job done. Just get the fucking job done.
Yep.
I want to have. Yeah, I just want to have something to celebrate about. I want to for once have necessitated that eventual crazy thing I once jokingly said if the Mets win the World Series. And a while back, a few years ago, I said to my sister, I said, Shannon, my sister named Shannon, you have no idea how I'll react to the Mets win a World Series. And my sister said to me, she says, Bobo, and yes, she's the one who gave me the nickname Bobo. She said, Bobo, what are you going to do if the Mets win the World Series? Yell out you're going to Disney World and actually go to Disney World? I said, I'm probably going to do that. Just have a bunch of Met fans with me in the video, wherever I'm watching the game, whether it's at the ballpark or someplace watching the game. Say it at the same time. We're going to Disney World, and actually get a bunch of Met fans. You be welcome to be a part of this too. To go on the same day. A
That'd be
victory
nice.
trip.
That'd be nice. Maybe if they do win that, we can make that trip around New Year's Day for when the Rangers and Panthers game is going on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was just telling you about the email I got at a pre-sale upcoming for that.
Yes, very true. Very true. So
Yeah.
Rangers and Panthers fans going to be on the lookout for that. But Dan, yeah, man. I mean, so coming now into this series against the Rockies, there's actually a historic streak on the line now, believe it or not. The Colorado Rockies, dating back to last year, have now lost after they just got swept in their previous series against the Cubs. They've now lost 21 consecutive series. They actually broke the all-time record. The all-time record for consecutive series losses was 20, held by the 1899 Cleveland Spiders. So
Ooh.
there's your fact of the day, and they just broke that record with that sweep at the hands of the Cubs. Now the Mets can extend that streak to 22 consecutive series losses, or the Mets could be the team that allows the Rockies to snap that streak. So let's just hope, at the very least, when the Rockies are leaving here, that streak is still intact.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see that still intact. Keep it up, Mets. Keep it up.
Exactly.
Exactly,
So
exactly. They better keep it up because I'll be watching there. I'll be watching there in my living room. Also, I noticed a unique thing the Mets are doing this weekend, which is I feel like it's pretty neat, especially with the high demand of these giveaways. Because I noticed when it comes to these bobblehead giveaways, especially when you see the bobblehead of his like a character in Mets gear, like in this case, the weekend there's a they're giving out like a bobblehead. I believe it's a Hello Kitty in a Mets jersey wearing the City Connect. There's a lot of I hear there's a lot of there's plenty of Met fans that want to get a hold of these, and there's a lot of Met fans that want to get a hold of these for other Met fans that want one. You know, like let's say someone has their girlfriend that likes Hello Kitty or something like that. They want to get one. You know what I mean? Or they have a relative, they have a relative that likes Hello Kitty and is a Met fan that would want one of these. They want to get one of these. They're doing this giveaway all 3 days this weekend. They're doing the same giveaway.
very
So
cool. Very cool. Although
there's
I wouldn't want any giveaway associated with that shitty City Connect jersey.
Yep, exactly. Which, by the way, remember you said last year the Mets made the playoffs. You were going to buy one. Did you actually get one?
I did. I have my Pete Alonso. It's in my closet, so I can't get it out right now. I'll show it on the next episode. I have my Pete Alonso City Connect jersey that
Yeah,
I only got just to hold up that end of the bargain.
yeah, exactly. We got to show that we actually did it now, and in solidarity with you, I'm gonna wear, I'll wear mine. I'll wear mine in solidarity, showing because I remember you said this, but I feel like we owe the fans that actually see you actually are seen on camera wearing it.
Very true. Very true. I think I tweeted out a picture of it last year. I'll have to look it up. But either way, we will do that. So next week on the show, we'll be decked out in our City Connect jerseys. But yeah, Dan. All right. So last thing here, let's wrap up the show talking some Yankees now as we close things out. A couple of minutes away from tip off here in the Knick game as we coming up on 8 o'clock here in the East. Yankees now, Dan, they're red hot. As a matter of fact, the only game the Yankees have lost in their last 10 was at the hands of the New York Mets a couple of Saturdays ago. Ever since then, the Yankees have gone on an absolute tear, sweeping the Angels. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. They're definitely one of the better teams in the American League. Probably even the crazy thing to me is the Yankees are probably still the class of the American League, even without Juan Soto and Garrett Cole, who's injured this year. Just goes to show what a good team they have. And they still haven't even gotten anything from Giancarlo Stanton yet this year, who is set to start a rehab, assignment at some point in the next week or two. What are your thoughts about how hot the Yankees have been lately?
Yeah, well, with the Yankees, I feel like I've said the same thing. The American League, I feel like there's a lot of weak opponents in the American League, like last year. I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
and and I'm surprised. I thought the Yankees were going to have a bit more competition in Boston, and they've seemed to be a bit of a letdown. Oh, hold on, I gotta get my hold on. Never mind me fumbling with wires because I gotta hook up the chart. I gotta hook up a charging cable because
All right,
I
no
forgot
problem. But the
and
yeah,
I
no
forgot.
problem. You just plug it in, and I'll take it away here. As yeah, man, you're absolutely right about
I
that.
got it.
God,
All right.
what's
All
that?
right. We're good. We're good. We're good to go. It's charging. I just got got an alert. I just miscalculated how much charge there was on this thing. But and anyway, what I was gonna say is that when I look at the fact that the Yankees swept the Angels, I really look at it like that George Costanza meme or that scene in Seinfeld. Like he said, "Yeah, we won the World Series last year." When that scene when Jeter had a cameo in Seinfeld, and then George says, "It's 7 games." I feel like it's the
Six
same
games.
thing. Like he says, "We swept." Yeah. It's six games. 6 games. I forgot. It's 6 games. I feel like the same thing. We just swept our previous series against the Angels.
Yeah, but you can't say the Angels were one of the hotter teams in baseball before that. They had won 8 straight games. They got back to
Yeah,
500. They were buried for a little while there. So I know what you're saying, but you can't even gloss over that fact like a lot of Met fans would like,
yeah.
because as bad as the Angels have been the last couple of years and as bad as they started, they're a 500 team right now that had been on an 8-game winning streak.
Yeah, exactly. And I gotta say but the Yankees have been doing good. The big question is how well will the Yankees fare against teams with tougher pitching?
Well, we're going to find out this weekend, Dan, because first, I do want to give a lot of credit to Clark Schmidt, who had a great game yesterday. Clark Schmidt is a guy the Yankees are going to be heavily relying on a lot this season, especially with their need in the rotation now since Garrett Cole's out all year. But like you said, Dan, the competition is going to ratchet up this weekend as it's going to be Yankees and Dodgers in LA. So the Mets got them last weekend. The Yankees get them this weekend in LA. So the Dodgers too is
And
going to be an interesting week for them as they're going to host the Yankees this
yeah,
weekend, and then coming in right
yeah,
after that with the Mets are going to be in for a 4-game series.
I mean, yeah. All I could say is that this is the battle of the teams with the most fake ass fan bases there are in the world. The most
No, the Dodgers
bandwagon fan
definitely,
bases. Yeah,
and it's going to
I
kick
just
off.
I
Man, you
and you know the
can't give the
crazy part.
Yankee you can't even give the Yankee fans credit for anything, man. All you're doing is shitting all over the Yankees and the Yankee fans.
Because I just grew up all when I was a teenager, all I saw was these fake ass Yankee fans. All of a sudden, they're showing up when they're winning.
Well,
Like
you mean the same ones that were Seattle Mariner fans in 1995, but by 2000 they were diehard Yankee fans.
yeah, exactly. Some of those things. Yeah, that whole thing, and these dumb girls that just were wearing jerseys, wearing the Jeter jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's a similar thing these days because there's these dumb TikTok girls wearing Aaron Judge jerseys. There was at a Subway Series game that annoyed me that my view of the game was being blocked by these dumb TikTok girls doing their dumb TikTok shit, wearing wearing Judge jerseys. It just annoyed the shit. It just annoyed the shit out of me. And of
Well,
course,
I'm sure.
no, no disrespect. I mean, I do know some Yankee fans who were fans of the Yankees, even when the teams were bad, even before that '90s dynasty. And
Yeah,
and
no
and
doubt about
also
it.
also that I do have my lone relative in Southern California is probably going to be at this series at LA. He's a Yankees fan, and he's he's probably making a drive from the San Diego area. He's probably making a drive down to LA for the series, probably.
All right, and if he does that, Dan, the first thing he's going to be checking out is a really good pitching matchup on Friday night. It's scheduled to first pitch 10:10 Eastern time here in New York, 7:10 local time on the West Coast, and they're the Yankees' ace pitcher right now with Cole down, and their big free agent signing in the offseason, Max Fried, takes his 7-0 record of the 1.29 ERA into Dodger Stadium to take on the Dodgers and Tony Gonsolin, who, let's not forget, Tony Gonsolin is still coming back off that injury. You see those numbers over there: 2-1, 4.68 ERA. It's not that impressive. But if you think back to, I forget if it was 2022 or 2023, this is a guy that was 16-1 in a season 1 year. So this is a guy that has done some winning at the big league level, and he's a big piece to that Dodger rotation, especially with all the injuries they're dealing with right now. Let's not forget Roki Saki is hurt for them. I think Yamamoto is still kind of banged up a little bit, although I think he's actually in the rotation. They have a, a, a litany of injuries. Tyler Glass now is hurt. Blake Snell is hurt. So, I mean, there's a lot of injuries in that Dodger staff right now, but they're still deep and they're still tough to face.
Yeah, exactly. You're still tempting, and this is probably gonna be a nail biter for Yankee fans. As crazy as it is, I'm sure. I'm sure there's gonna be a nail biter and probably some moments that'll make Dave, Eastside or pal Eastside Dave yell at the TV probably.
I'm sure. I'm sure. But the Yankees, knowing them and knowing Aaron Judge, who's still, by the way, hitting 391 over there in the Bronx right now, as ridiculous as that is, after Memorial Day to be saying that. Um, the Yankees will probably give the Dodgers fans a little reason for uneasiness as well. So we'll have to see how that series goes as the World Series rematch commences this weekend at Dodger Stadium, starting tomorrow night. So, um, great series out there. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And with that, Dan, I think we're just about ready to close things out here as tip off in the Nick game is mere minutes away.
Come on,
Before we get
let's go. Let's
before we
fucking
get out of here,
go. We can win
anything
this.
you'd like to plug for yourself?
Sure, my Twitter Bobo103 NYC, Instagram Bobo718VK. I'll also film some probably film a trackside minute somewhere at the halftime break. I'll film a track at halftime. I'll probably film a trackside minute wrapping up the last couple of weeks, like a lot of stuff we're gonna have to go through the couple of days. But I'll be filming trackside minute, sending it out to all you Patreon subscribers. By the way, our Patreon only $5 a month. You'll support the show, get early access. Get early access to my YouTube videos when I upload them, and you get a nice little. You get our Patreon exclusive show on Sunday, so it's not bad of a deal. What you get there for, and more importantly, you support our show. Which is
Exactly.
greatly appreciated. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're watching this. And get the word out about our show. Hit like and subscribe. The both of us want to have one of those YouTube awards. Those silver play button awards. I badly want to have one of those. I want to know what it's like to hang one of those things. I love doing this show, and it would really mean a lot to be able to say that we have that we've accomplished that. Thanks to you guys. I mean, you guys are along for the ride. That we can say that we accomplished that. It's just something really neat, just morale, just to be able to say like an award winning, like just to show that award, to be able to hang that up somewhere, and to be able to let you guys know that you guys made that award possible. Because like I'm telling you, if that happens, I might. I know we made fun of the whole crying thing, like the crying Mike Spitz and stuff, but I'm telling you, there might be some crying by us if we win an award like that. If we win an award like that, they'll be crying. That's all I gotta tell you.
You're gonna be like,
there'll be emotion.
You're gonna be like, I grew up a kid from Maspeth, Queens, with 2 bad knees, just like the old Mike Schmidt clip.
I don't know, like I say, man. I grew up in Woodside. I'm originally from the neighborhood of Woodside, but I'd be saying like,
all right, you know what I mean. You live in Maspeth now. It was close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. But I'm just saying that I'll be showing this. It might be not like that, but I'm telling you that there'll be some emotional crying from that. showing off this YouTube that YouTube award, but just to be able to, I just really feel like it'd be so cool to have that one day on a title award-winning podcast.
And that's right. And if we ever get that award, it will be sent to your house, and you could display it right there on that back wall. And yeah, I think that's just about going to do it for us here on this edition of Best Seat in the House podcast. We want to thank everybody for hanging out with us here on this Thursday night. As we give the a little Knicks pregame, a little Mets Yankees here. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us, everybody that was chilling in the chat and contributing to the show. We appreciate it. Once again, if you want to help support us, Like Dan said, like and subscribe here. Any comments on the video help us too. It improves the algorithm. And if you want to help us too, our Patreon, patreon.com/Best Seat in the House podcast. And that's going to do it for us, everybody here. For my co-host, the great Daniel Bobo Curlin, I'm Rob Kramer. This is the Best Seat in the House podcast. That's the executive producer, Grimace. And we'll be back with you next week right here. So everybody have a great weekend. And let's go Knicks.